Can you imagine the face of the person on the Fiorentina side who's picking up this offer and reading it? He must have thought the same thing, that there's a typo here. Actually, there's missed out a zero maybe on the offer of 1 million euros is not right. It must be 10 million euros. He must have called up and said, have you got this offer right? I think you've made a typo. You think you've made a mistake here. You've clearly missed out a zero. No, we haven't actually. That is our offer. So wrap your head around this. Manchester United, John Murtough, Richard Arnold and Glazers tried to sign Marc Cucurella and Sofyan Amrabat for a total fee of £5 million. Could you even make this up? They went and tried to sign two players for £5 million. If that doesn't tell us that these guys have absolutely no clue what they're doing, nothing will. Maybe, just maybe, thought that the Glazers might for once go out there in this transfer window and do what is needed and help Ten Hag and get some fans back on their side. But this is well and truly a goodbye you by the Glazers to the fans. It must be. Welcome to the Man United stream. In today's show, we're talking about the bid United have made for Amrabat. We talk about the bid that United didn't make for Amrabat. We talk about the bid United made for Amrabat for a loan move. We talk about the Manchester United offer of a bag of chips and a drink for Amrabat made to Fiorentina. And then we talk about the Glazers being spotted outside a food bank waiting in line for some food. Okay, the last one's a joke, obviously. The first few are not a joke though. Manchester United have made an offer for Amrabat to Fiorentina, which is essentially a non-offer, but we'll discuss that and more in today's show. We'll also be discussing the Gravenberch issue and how it might be hijacked by Liverpool FC. We'll also be talking about McTominay today and how Manchester United think he's worth 80 million, 90 million for some reason. I don't know what they think his value is. Clearly they're not happy with any offer that's coming in for him. And finally, we'll discuss Cucurella and see what's going on with his deal with Chelsea and see what Manchester United have offered Chelsea. It might have been 2 bags of chips and a drink, maybe. We don't know, but we'll discuss that later on in the show. This is going to be a great show, so go ahead and hit that like button on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We provide you with all the latest Manchester United news and opinion from everywhere, so hit that subscribe button. So let's play this out. Amrabat, we heard yesterday Manchester United were going to go ahead and make an offer for Amrabat yesterday afternoon, sometime about 2-3 o'clock, which was fantastic news. David Ornstein broke the news yesterday afternoon that Manchester United had gone in for Amrabat and were discussing a loan move for him and would be looking to get it done before the transfer window closes. Now, this was great news for many Manchester United fans. We were happy that Manchester United were going in and finally getting Amrabat, even though it was on a loan. And yes, it would have been nice if Manchester United went in there and bought the player, but look, a loan move is a loan move. We get the player, maybe there'll be a clause to buy him later on and we'll get the deal done. So most fans were overjoyed at hearing the news that Manchester United were going in finally and getting their man Amrabat in through the door, and hopefully he could start on the weekend. Of course, we didn't hear any of the details of what the loan deal proposal was, but we did hear that Manchester United had gone in there with a loan proposal. But a few hours later, we heard the news that Fiorentina had rejected Manchester United's loan move offer for Amrabat, and then we heard the details of what that offer was. And well, let's say it was embarrassing to hear as a Manchester United fan. It was absolutely embarrassing to hear what Manchester United had offered Fiorentina for Amrabat. When I first actually saw the figures being thrown around, I actually thought that they might have missed a digit off the number. It might have been a £10 million offer, not a £1 million, but it wasn't wrong. It wasn't a typo. This was genuinely an offer for €1 million to Fiorentina for their best player. Like, who put this offer on paper? I'd love to know which person at Manchester United sat down and typed out this offer and sat down and thought, yeah, £1 million, more than reasonable. It's going over to Fiorentina and they should accept it. Can you imagine the face of the person on the Fiorentina side who's picking up this offer and reading it? He must have thought the same thing, that there's a typo here. Actually, there's missed out a zero maybe on the offer of €1 million is not right. It must be 10 million euros. He must have called up and said, have you got this offer right? I think you've made a typo. You think you've made a mistake here. You've clearly missed out a zero. No, we haven't actually. That is our offer. 1 million. One of the biggest clubs in the world is making an offer of 1 million for Amrabat, one of the best players in Europe right now as a CDM player. He is a very, very good player. And it's beyond a joke. It's absolutely embarrassing for Manchester United fans, anyone connected to Manchester United, that we are going in and making such offers for a player who's been sat there waiting for us all summer. He's rejected offers from Saudi, he's rejected offers from other European clubs just to come to Manchester United. He has spoke to Ten Hag on numerous occasions, and Ten Hag has convinced him to join Manchester United. He only wants United. He's told Fiorentina the same thing. He just wants United. Knowing that the player wants to come to United, knowing that Ten Hag has spoken to him on numerous occasions, knowing that he's rejected so many offers, to make an offer such as this is disgraceful. It's not embarrassing, it's beyond embarrassing. It is disgraceful for a club of the stature of Manchester United to go ahead and make an offer like this and trying to lowball Fiorentina and strong-arm them into selling Amrabat. Like, what's happened to our club? Like, you'd never make an offer like that. Why would you make an offer that you know will be rejected? This whole situation, this is below Manchester United. We know Manchester United is a better club than this. We are aware of what its history is all about, and it does not do this kind of business. It just does not. But clearly the Glazers have no idea or do not care about the heritage of the club and don't care about the reputation. We literally have 2 days to go before the transfer window closes, and Manchester United are making offers like this, silly offers. I mean, offers that they already know will be rejected. But what is clear is that the club is being ran by complete clowns. Never mind the owners, the people that they've put in charge at the club, dealing with the day-to-day business of the club, like John Murter, like Richard Arnold, have absolutely no idea what they're doing at the club. They're not footballing people. They don't know how transfers are done. They don't know the value of players. They don't care about such things. All they see is paper, numbers, and that's it. They don't care about anything else. They don't have a clue. They don't even sit there and chat to anybody who does have a clue. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Amrabat situation. Do you think the £1 million offer is fair? Do you think Manchester United are simply just trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes? Do you even think they're interested in Amrabat? Do you think they actually genuinely want Amrabat in? Or is this just an offer to appease the fans and say, well, we tried getting him and it wasn't to be? But my question is, where is all the money? Where is the money that we've got from Dean Henderson, we've got from Fred? Where's all that money gone? And for those of you who are sitting there probably saying, look, it's financial fair play rules, it's FFP, we cannot go out and buy players. I really don't think that's the whole story. I think there's a lot more to this story, and we are going to find out later on what's been going on at Manchester United. Why can we not go out there and buy a player for only 21 million euros? There is something fishy going on. And if the Glazers were on thin ice before this transfer window opened, right now I don't think there's any ice left there anymore. It has gone. It's disappeared. And there are some serious questions about Manchester United's dealings in this summer transfer window. Why did they go out there and sign Onana when they had De Gea sat there already in the club? Why would they go and spend that money? And then why did they go and get Mount when he was a luxury item? We could probably all agree that Mount was not a priority position to be filled. So the question is why? Why did Manchester United go ahead and sign these players knowing full well that they've got financial constraints and they will not be able to go ahead and sign key players in key positions that Ten Hag has asked for? Why did they do that? It really does not make any sense, apart from knowing that these guys have no clue what they're doing in the transfer window. And for those people who are blaming Ten Hag for all the situation, Ten Hag is not in charge of the finances. He's not in charge of the transfer finances. He doesn't have a clue as to what is going on behind the scenes with the finances. He just asks for players and then he gets told whether he's going to get them or not. We've been told by sources that Ten Hag was informed that he will get the players he's asked for once players like McTominay and Maguire are sold and leave the club. But clearly, we haven't sold any of those players. McTominay still sat there, Maguire still sat there, and we're completely shafted. The Glazers, John Murter and Richard Arnold, the plan for them has failed. They failed in their plan of selling these players, making that money and then going out and buying more players. It has absolutely fell apart in dramatic fashion. This plan of selling players and then buying in players by John Murter, by Richard Arnold and by the Glazers has absolutely failed on epic scales. The plan has clearly failed Ten Hag. It's failed billions of fans around the world who just maybe thought that the Glazers might for once go out there in this transfer window and do what is needed and help Ten Hag and get some fans back on their side. But this is well and truly a goodbye f*** you by the Glazers to the fans. It must be. So wrap your head around this. Manchester United, John Murtough, Richard Arnold and Glazers tried to sign Mark Cucurella and Sofyan Amrabat for a total fee of £5 million. I mean, could you even make this up? They went and tried to sign 2 players for £5 million. If that doesn't tell us that these guys have absolutely no clue what they're doing, nothing will. I must admit, I'm not totally upset about the offer made for Amrabat. And the reason being is because I believe that this is a huge sign that the Glazers are leaving the building. The Glazers are out. They've got 1 foot out of the building. No decent owner would make such an offer. But the Glazers clearly do not care. They do not care. They're at the stage right now where they're thinking, right, we've got 1 foot out the door. We don't care what the hell's going on, who's coming in and who's not. We do not care, and we're not putting any money down to get anybody in. And this offer for $1 million made for Amrabat clearly illustrates that Man United have got no money to go out there and buy other players like Hojlund. They were talking about that's not going to happen. They're not going to go and buy Gravenberch. They're not going to buy anybody else. They haven't got the money. So even Amrabat is a long shot. We're probably not even going to get him if Manchester United carry on making these kind of offers. United will have to make a decent offer to get Amrabat through the door. Now what we're hearing is that Fiorentina want a compulsory buy clause in the contract for Amrabat. So Manchester United are obligated to buy Amrabat after a certain period of time, after a certain number of games, and that is what Fiorentina want to have included in the contract, and that makes sense. So I think Manchester United can go back and can do a deal on Amrabat. They will have to increase the fee, of course they will have to, but they'd also have to amend the contract for these terms to go in there, and I think the deal can be done before Friday and before the transfer window ends. Moving on to McTominay. Now we heard that Bayern Munich were interested in signing McTominay and they were looking into it, and Manchester United fans were all getting excited because we could do a swap deal and having Gravenberch come our way and send McTominay the other way. But we're hearing that deal is not going to happen. Manchester United are placing too much of a high value on McTominay and do not want to let him go for less than 30. The people at Manchester United clearly believe that McTominay is worth a lot of money, but I don't know what world of football they live in. To have rejected 30 million from West Ham just weeks ago, now knowing that they're in dire financial situation, makes no sense whatsoever to anybody. Why would you reject 30 million? You'd have taken that money and gone off shopping. So the situation with Bayern has definitely gone cold. We're not hearing anything on the McTominay situation from Bayern. In fact, we're hearing from sources that Bayern Munich are now looking and negotiating a deal with Fulham for Polinia, their CDM. He's a great player and he's probably a lot cheaper than what McTominay is being offered for. It looks like McTominay is going to end up staying at Manchester United because we again have failed to sell him at the right price at the right time to any club that's come in for him. Now thankfully we haven't heard any news about Manchester United going in there for Gravenberch and offering Bayern Munich maybe £200 for a loan deal for Gravenberch. We might get the news today that Manchester United have sent some representatives over to Bayern Munich and they're pleading with the board to let us have Gravenberch for free. But on a serious note, we are hearing that Liverpool are in for Gravenberch. Now this is salt in the wound, isn't it? This is worst case scenario. We're not even buying him, but not only are we not going to buy him, he's going to go to our arch rivals, arch nemesis, Liverpool. We've heard from sources that Liverpool are not offering a loan deal. They want to buy the player outright and they will make an offer for him before the transfer window closes and get the deal done. It does look very, very likely that this is going to happen for Liverpool. And we at Manchester United are left with the same players that we started off with the summer transfer window trying to sell. They've not sold and they're still sat there. Have you ever tried chasing a chicken around the garden, and when you chase it, it does a full U-turn, a full circle, and it runs behind you? That's what it feels like right now. We've tried to get rid of all these players and we've tried to push them out, but what they've just simply done is walked right round us and they've gone and sat back exactly where they were, not moving an inch. So they're exactly where we started, back to square one. Maguire, McTominay, Donny van de Beek, Eric Bailly, even Martial, let's be honest, all are sat at United when we all thought they'd be gone by now. But the lack of sales again comes back to the people running the club. Why have they not been successful at selling the players that they wanted to sell? They knew that it was a priority. They knew they needed to sell these players to get in new players, but they failed to do that on an epic scale. It's been an absolute shambles. Why? Questions need to be asked and heads need to roll for this. Moving on to Marc Cucurella, yes, we are currently in negotiations with Chelsea to get this deal done. We are hearing that it's very close. Manchester United offered around 2 to 3 million. Chelsea want a bit more, but we are looking like we're going to actually get this player done before the transfer window closes, and we will have him at Manchester United. It really does feel like we're on an emotional roller coaster with everything that Manchester United do in the transfer market. Yesterday, when the news broke that Amrabat was finally going to get done and Manchester United were going to go in for him and get this done, we were so happy and ecstatic. We were all excited that this is finally going to get done and we will get Amrabat in through the door. But then we heard it was a loan move. Okay, we thought, right, okay, doesn't matter, at least we get the player in, even if it's on a loan. But then we hear our loan offer for Amrabat has been rejected because United offered €1 million and realised that we are in deep shit. Because it's not just simply about bringing in players, it's also looking around at other clubs around us in the Premier League and seeing that they've all improved their teams. Look at Chelsea, look at Man City, look at Liverpool, look at Newcastle. All these clubs have improved their teams and squads and they are ready to go in for battle. We do not look like we're ready for battle. We haven't got anybody in there as reinforcements, and that is the biggest problem Ten Hag has got. Will Ten Hag be able to pull off another miracle season with the squad that we've got? Yes, he could, because he is a top manager and I've got full faith in Ten Hag and I really do trust in Ten Hag. But you can't expect him to work miracles each season. He does still need the tools. He needs the players to do the job. If every player is getting injured, we're going to struggle and Ten Hag's going to struggle. We're not going to have the capabilities to go out there and play against top teams and win every week. We've got less than 48 hours and counting. Ten Hag needs these players. We need to get these players in. Let's hope that Manchester United can pull off some miracle and bring in some players before the transfer window closes. We'll keep you up to date with all the transfer business and goings on this channel. So please hit that subscribe button and keep up to date with everything. Finishing the show off on a positive note, we have got Hojlund fit and ready for the weekend game against Arsenal. It looks like that he may make an appearance, he may even start the game, which is exciting for every Manchester United fan to see our star striker go out there and do some serious damage against Arsenal. Fingers crossed he gets on and fingers crossed he scores his debut goal against Arsenal. It'll be amazing to watch, so we cannot wait for that. Hit that like button and subscribe. You were watching the Man United Stream, a channel by the fans for the fans.